Getting ready to talk to my brother. I'm here in Dallas and he's over in Italy. So I haven't talked to him in a little while. Bro, what are you? Hey, you know what you look like? You look like Barney Rubble, that cloth that he wears.
Bro, I'm the cheetah. What are you talking about? What's Gucci, fam?
No, not much, bro, not much.
Turn to the side. You got a fade?
Hey,
You got a fade?
hey, bro, check out the waves too. Look at them. Look at the waves. Do you remember when you got that scar underneath your eye?
This one, yeah.
Yeah, you remember that? We were playing football. We would always play football inside, like tackle football. That one time that he got around me, I pushed him in the back and he fell in and hit a TV and it bust his face open.
I don't recall a push. I recall a pick up and slam. I recall a pick up and slam. You were at the end of the hallway where it opened up into the whole house, like living room. And the TV was sat right on that edge, like right there. And you picked me up and you slammed me, didn't know the TV was there, and doof.
I remember you crying and I would like, anytime I hurt you as a kid, like, and you would start crying, like I would like grab your mouth and like, shh.
Weston, as a young kid, was always active, really rambunctious. He got into everything.
Pretty hyper. He was a risk taker.
As a kid, whenever his older brother, John, would go somewhere, it's like, take your brother.
He was pretty much my shadow.
I was always that annoying little brother that my sister or my brother had to take with them everywhere.
It didn't matter what I was doing. I could be at a friend's birthday party, friend's sleepover, like, hey, he's there.
I wouldn't say I got into a lot of trouble, at least not a lot of trouble that I, got caught. We did a lot of stuff together. I mean, ding dong ditched. We threw ketchup and mustard at that one Porsche.
Yeah, dude, you remember that guy chased us? Remember he like parked his car and chased us?
But the worst part about it is that he parked right in front of our house, not knowing it was our house.
Yeah, we couldn't go home. We were just like, we couldn't run home. He was parked right in front of our house.
Yeah. He was always around older, bigger, faster, stronger kids. So he was always competitive.
I compete in everything. I don't care if it's drinking water. I don't care if it's running up steps.
He's ultra competitive. He cannot lose. It's actually a little bit annoying, and I know he's gonna laugh when I say this, but I know a lot of people who don't want to play any kind of games with West.
Anything competitive, he'll just bully me about it. He'll pick on me, toss me around, throw me around, beat me up, punch me, stuff like that.
I had to find a way to win because I hated losing.
He bullies you when he wins, and I would say he kind of puts it under the carpet when he loses. He always finds ways to not bring it up.
And given the fact that my brother was older than me, I always had to compete. Because I hated losing.
Germany was probably my favorite place that we lived.
I always tell people, I was like, not my second time in Germany, but the first time in Germany was probably like one of my favorite periods in my life.
Yeah, same.
Just because it was so like free. We always had something to do.
Yeah.
Being in the Army, we moved a lot. It was time for me to rotate again. The option to go to Alaska or Germany. And without a doubt, we was like, we're going to Germany.
We were excited to be moving anywhere, but the thought of moving to Germany, we thought was pretty cool because it was somewhere that we had never been or never even really heard of.
In Germany, we lived across from a school, an elementary school, but it was a German elementary school.
The decision to live off the military installation was a no-brainer for me once I transitioned to Germany. I saw the lifestyle of the families living on the installation where you go to school, you're around Americans all day. After school, you're around Americans all day. So I wanted them to experience living in Europe. The first day I'm in country, I went to the airport to pick them up. We went into the house.
I could see the parking lot where all the kids would play and the playground where the kids would play from the upstairs window.
I knew from experience that I didn't want them to go to sleep right away because of the jet lag. So yes, I said, hey, there's a school across the street, go play. And of course they grabbed their football and they went across the street.
We walked across the street, all these German kids playing soccer, and me and him were kind of looking at each other like, we don't know what this is.
I kind of raised them to don't be afraid to talk to people. And like my mom told me, you never learn anything unless you open your mouth.
I remember walking over there, and I remember everyone like thinking that you were a girl because your hair.
I mean, I was 6 years old given.
Oh yeah, I know. Hey, like, can we touch your hair? And you're just like, yeah. And then, like, yeah. And I remember pretty vividly Toby, which is one of my best friends. He's the only kid that spoke English at the time. He walked up to us and just kind of, hey, my name's Toby. What's your name? I'm John. This is Weston. We live right there. And he's like, okay, well, do you guys want to play with us? And that's how we started playing soccer.
So pretty good spot to play pickup with your friends here, or with the people from the village, right? With the other children. You take 2 poles, 2 shoes, whatever, right? And you just play on the street.
Bro, do you remember how like we would make you like climb the roof of the school to get those soccer balls off?
Yeah, when I went back to it now, they put barbed wire on it. So
oh, they did?
Nobody can climb that little wire anymore. They put barbed wire around it.
So I was like, get the balls, throw them down, and come back. And then you would get up there and just like look over the edge and like stick your foot over the edge. I'm like, dude, get back. Like, do not, because that fall was so high. It's like, man, if he falls, like he's dead.
Yeah, because it was unstable. It was all just rocks up there too.
I was like, my parents are gonna murder me if he falls off this roof. But we need a soccer ball, so get up there.
That would have been another thing we did together.
Yeah, die together.
I got into coaching when I was 18. I'm 36 now. For 18 years, so half of my life, I've been doing nothing else than soccer. There was a community sports meeting that happened every Monday, right, in our local gym. Anyone probably between like 14, 15 and 20, you know. We went there every Monday, and Weston's house that he lived in here was right across the street from that gym.
It was one of those deals where you had to know someone that knew someone to get into the gym. You couldn't just walk in. But when we finally were able to get in, Weston was just this little kid running around amongst teenagers and young men.
Him and little John walked in this door and asked if they could join and if they could play with us. You know, you could see the joy in his eyes when he walked in, and he was just a little boy that wanted to play soccer. I can still recall him shouting for the ball, pass.
I didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I guess it caught the eye of David.
David came up to me and Toby, and he's like, hey, who is this little guy? I'm coaching a team for the village, and it's his age.
Hey, can you talk to your mom about having him come out and try out for the team? And of course, his mom wanted to keep him active.
And that's how Weston transitioned into playing organized soccer.
So the first time Wes showed up with our club, I'm pretty sure he had khaki shorts on and some shoes that were definitely not cleats. Trains with us, looks really good. So we register him right away. First game, I think, scores 8 goals, and the rest is history.
I was nervous, but I was excited just because like I'm a competitor.
And it's not like he celebrated doing the goals or nothing. Whenever he would score, he would just turn around and run back down the field like nothing had happened. I love that about him because he did not gloat and celebrate. He just like, I want to do it again.
He can do things that kids his age can't do. He can actually do things that kids older than him can do, and he's very good at it. So David kind of took Weston under his wing and really pushed him to be better, to play better, to, you know, take charge, take lead.
He got a little bit of a reputation, you know, he was the American boy, you know, that we had, right?
David recognized really quick that the age group he was playing in was the wrong age group because he just totally demolished those kids.
And when we moved him up to age groups and he started playing with a team that, you know, like where the players were a little bit more on his level, he started, you know, distributing the ball. And to see that growth in him as well. This kid can understands when I have better teammates, I can use them and I can play with them. It was just striking.
He's always a crack up, you know. When we go on these family road trips, we actually came up with this little rap song that we made. If you ask him about it or ask his brother about it, they probably remember the lyrics to this day.
No, we did write a rap song, but I don't remember the lyrics.
We kick big on the field, crisscross, get back, scissor you up, lay you down on your back, nutmeg you, dribble up and score, there's a surprise, what's the score? 15-0, that's for sure. Now get up, stop crying. That's definitely for sure.
The experience I had meeting Landon Donovan was honestly something that kind of motivated me in a sense. You know, I was in school, I was just learning this new sport, soccer, that I didn't know was a sport. And then my mom comes to school and takes me out, and I'm like, where are we going? And she's like, we're gonna have a surprise for you. And we show up, and you know, it's the U.S. soccer men's national team, you know, at the Air Force Base. You know, I'm walking, I'm like, oh my God. And she brought my shoes, she brought a ball, she brought like, you know, I don't know, a book. And I give him the ball, I give him the shoes, he smells the shoes, he's like, oh my God, this smells bad. And so I went around, you know, took a picture with them, and you know, since that day I was just inspired in a sense that soccer was much bigger than I thought it was, and that you could represent your country. So I'm thinking, oh my God, like USA actually has a team for soccer. That's crazy, like I wanna be there one day.
My friends always admire me that I said, this kid is gonna go pro, this kid is gonna go pro. And it was not so much only that he would, you know, like be able to manipulate the ball. It was his mentality, his competitiveness, his drive.
I always tell people like, yeah, you guys know this was my first coach, right? And no one really believes it because he's so young. And I'm just like, yeah, he's the one that introduced me to the game. Like, he was my first coach. He saw the potential and everything, and they're just like, what?
Meeting Wes as a kid has changed my life tremendously. It's a crazy story how sometimes little like incidents or fateful meetings like the one with Weston influence where you go in life, right? It doesn't matter if I helped him on the field coaching, but also, you know, I grew as he grew in this business, right? And it's a very, very special relationship that I don't think you find so often anywhere else in the world.
And we still have a great relationship, and he still critiques me, and we still talk after games. And
David hasn't changed over the years with Weston. He's still like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, you're lacking here, you're slow here, you know. So he still gives him good, solid advice.
Yeah, so coming back, first of all, I was like, Dad was like, Mom and Dad were like, oh, we're moving to Texas. And I was like, why are we moving to Texas? Like, why? Like, of all places. And then we got here, and I remember landing and driving on the tollway, and I was like, where are all the horses? Where are all the tumbleweeds? Like, that's all I thought Texas was horses and tumbleweeds.
I was excited to like play football again and like to eat American food.
Yeah.
And to like speak English.
I was young, I was used to moving and being in different areas and places and countries and states. That was exciting. It was just a new journey and a new opportunity for me. And of course I was even more excited because, you know, I got to have the opportunity to play my, you know, the first sport I fell in love with, which is American football. No better place to go than Texas for that.
Upon arriving back here to the States, football was something that he loved playing as well.
And he was really good. He played running back, he was the kicker, he played safety, he played, you know, anywhere that the coach needed him, just like soccer, he could play. He was just like a Swiss Army knife on the football field. Hey, we need to win this game, give Weston the ball. And he would get it, and then he would go score a couple touchdowns. And the next thing you know, it's like, hey, we're looking at the time, like, he's got a soccer game in, you know, an hour. So we would get him in the car, he would be changing in the car on his way to the soccer game, get to the soccer game, mind you, after he just played an entire football game and play an entire soccer game. He'd go out there and score 2-3 goals. There's a YouTube video when he played Pee Wee football, and he kicks the ball off, and you just see these kids, you know, they're all lined up. He puts his arm up in the air, he runs up and kicks the ball, and everyone on the team is going to receive, and they're looking, and they just go. And they have to run backwards 15, 20 yards to go get the ball because he kicked it over their heads.
Football helped give him the toughness, you know, as far as, you know, just taking on players on the soccer field.
You know, my mom and my dad, you know, spent a lot of time and money on gear, and they spent a lot of time, you know, taking me from training to training, from one game to the next game, and doing that while you're working a full-time job. It's kind of hard.
Once he got into, I think it was junior high school, and he made that transition to FC Dallas, he had to make that decision to play football or soccer. Being with FC Dallas, they told him, you know, really, we're gonna invest this money in you. You're in our program, so we don't want you playing any other sports.
I made my decision between soccer and football together with my mom, actually. And I told my mom, I was like, Mom, like, I don't know what to do. I was 11 years old, I believe. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I love football and soccer. She's like, well, you have to make a decision. I was like, well, I love football 99.8%. She's like, well, what about soccer? And I was like, well, I love soccer 99.9. She was like, well, then I guess you have your decision.
I think if he hadn't gone soccer, I think he probably could have gone football. He's just that competitive that if he would have said, hey, my dream is the NFL, I think he would have accomplished it.
So in my eyes, even though some people may tell me otherwise, I think if I would have stuck with football, I could have made it pro in football as well. But we'll never know. Maybe I'll make it pro one day, but by being a kicker, I don't know.
I knew from a very young age that he was good. It wasn't until he really got involved with the FC Dallas Academy, I was like, he's gonna make it.
I think in America they called him the German kid, right? So he came back and he was the German kid, you know, who would crush, you know, like other teams in games because he was that good, right?
Years later, we did not know that Weston was kind of a project for them because they put him with older kids as well, and they wanted to see how he handled it.
When I was around 6 years old, I used to play goalie for my uncle, and he used to just shoot the ball full force at me, full power at my hands, and it was just torture. It was still fun. It kind of helped me develop my hands to play football more.
I remember us having like this sit-down family discussion.
Oh, that was honestly too much at that time.
Dude, University of Virginia offered you that crazy scholarship. It was like, hey, come play one season with us and we'll guarantee you a full ride scholarship whenever you want to come back. So I was like, yo, like, go play for 3 or 4 months and lock up that scholarship.
I remember Mom was like, follow your dreams, whatever you want, follow your heart. Dad was like, school.
The decision between playing professional and going to college was actually, it was, given the situation I was in, was hard, but for my mind and what I wanted to do, it was easy.
It was kind of heated between he and I. It was heated because he had a full ride scholarship to University of Virginia, and I'm like, what are you doing? What if this doesn't work? You know, then the scholarship is gone, and I was hot behind the collar. And me and his agent, we had some words.
And you know, my mom was saying, you know, you can do what your heart desires.
I remember him calling me, you know, and he would ask for my opinion. And I said, Weston, you have to do this, period, right? Yeah, you know, but my dad, you know, leans a little bit more towards college. And I said, Wes, if you want to have a career in soccer, you have to do this. It is a now or never situation.
I really wanted to go back to Germany because it was like a second home for me. I was familiar. And so the offer came on the table with Schalke, and as soon as that happened, my mind was made up. I was like, yo, I'm going.
Saturday or Sunday, he was home. Monday, he was on a plane to Germany to go tour the Schalke 04 stadium. They came back from that, and I think he had like a week or so, something like that, to be like, yeah, I'll take it. And so it was like, is this really happening? It was a little tough. It was tough for me because I realized that, you know, he wasn't coming back home. And so, yeah, it was real emotional. He and I, we cried at the airport like babies. I cried all the way back home because I was like, oh my God, my baby's gone, you know? But I didn't know at that time, Weston's mindset was, I did not have a plan B, Dad. I had a plan A. Plan A was to go over there and be successful.
And then watching you run onto the field for your debut, I was like, yo, that is crazy.
I wasn't expecting to come in. And then all of a sudden, I just saw, Wes, number 2, Wes. And I was like, no way, no way. I just like, I cut across the field too.
Yeah. When Weston was in Germany, he played with an American chip on his shoulder all the time because he wanted to prove to everybody that we're good. We're good at this. Not just football, basketball, and baseball, but so he always played with a chip on his shoulder.
World Cup coming up, to think that like, you know, as a kid, like looking at, you know, the World Cup and now you're about to go play in it, like it's pretty nuts.
Like if I could press like a rewind button, like looking back to like not knowing soccer was a sport, then, you know, not knowing that there was a national team for the sport, finding out there's one, you know, going back to America, playing, getting cut from national team, going back into national team, never getting picked for trips, you know, always told I wasn't good enough, you know, told that I wasn't ready.
West's rise with the national team was fast, I would say, right? But it was also a little bit tough.
He got sent back home because I guess the coaches there didn't feel like, okay, he was that caliber player that he can go out and play with the first team, the A team. So he was always on the B team. That did make him crazy because he was just as good as some of the other kids.
He's feeling down, feeling a little bummed out. I think there was even a point in time where he wanted to quit soccer. Like it got to the point to where he was just like, I need a break.
He had got to a point where he was like, you know, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back.
A lot of people don't really understand, but for me, it was tough, and it was, you know, very mentally draining.
And it's like, hey, you're good enough to be on our practice squad, but you can't come with us when we can play.
And there was a phase in his career, and he will tell you this, where people didn't believe in him.
It was a task for us to try to keep his spirits up, his motivation up.
It was important for me, you know, to just show I'm there and I believe in you, you know, and you're gonna do this.
And that gave him even more of a competitive chip on his shoulder to say, look, I'll show you. You don't think I'm good enough? I'll show you.
He wanted to prove him wrong. And so to see him get called up into the national team where his first game was against Portugal, and to see him go out there and play in that game in Portugal and actually score on his debut, it was really cool to watch.
I think for him, you know, being a part of a new generation, you know, carrying the nation was big. And I think in a very short time, he became a very important part of this team.
How are you feeling like about playing in Qatar? Like, I don't know much about Qatar, but I can only imagine that's still gonna be hot over there in November.
But I think it's pretty cool because if you think about like winter time, everyone's mostly inside anyway. So like even the people that may not watch soccer, like oh well, the World Cup's on.
So and then whenever you guys make it to the finals, like, I mean that's gonna be crazy.
Why are you laughing?
I'm not laughing. I'm just saying like.
Why are you laughing?
No, when y'all make it.
We have to speak game by game.
Yeah, you got to get out of the group first.
I still think it's a little bit surreal for me. Remember, I saw him as a 6-year-old boy in a village in Germany. That is something that I couldn't even dream of, to be honest with you.
To be able to say like, hey, my brother is playing the game at the highest level on television, about to go play in the World Cup, like, that's cool.
If he brings his best version to the pitch, he's going to be influential in this World Cup. In my opinion, for him, it's a huge chance to show himself on the biggest stage in the world.
He told me, you know what, I'm going to leave it all out on the field. I'm just going to run until I can't run no more, because I asked him, and say, don't you ever get tired? He said, yeah, I get tired, but you know what? I'm just going to run and I'm going to play until I just can't play anymore.
I'm really about to do this. Like, I'm really about to, you know, if I hit like a rewind button in my head and look back at the time I, you know, met the U.S. men's national team back in Germany. Now I'm that guy that's sitting behind that podium, you know, for kids to come up and sign autographs, and me just looking and seeing myself in them, and to be able to go and play in, you know, on the world's biggest stage is just like a dream come true. It's still something that leaves me speechless sometimes. So yeah.
Good luck. Good luck at the World Cup. And yeah, good luck and safe travels. And all right, love you.
All right, love you too.
Bye.
Deuces.
I said bye, you can hang up now.
Bye.
My team really helped me accomplish, you know, my dream, was just to play professional soccer.
First of all, I'd like to say I'm very proud of you, and play hard, play smart, be respectful. Go Team USA.
Being part of Weston team means the world.
I want them to feel like this is their accomplishment too. You know, they were there for me through thick and thin. They were there for me where I thought I couldn't do it, where I thought I wasn't good enough, where I thought I couldn't make it, or you know, when people brought me down.
Hey Wes, good luck in the World Cup. Just play your heart out. You know, play with the same dedication and the same spirit you normally do, and then sky is the limit and you can carry this team.
They were always there in my corner to tell me that I can, and your dreams will come true, so yeah.
Being able to go out there and represent Team USA, you and your team, on the biggest stage there is, it's gonna be pretty cool. When you guys are in the locker room and in the huddle, man, speak it into existence. Good luck to you guys.
Bye, Weston.